Of course, I had to go and watch Alien Romulus a couple of days ago at the premiere, and my buddy, he decided to buy this popcorn bucket with the face hugger, and then he gave it to me. So, what a champ. Thank you so much, Dennis. In this video, I will do a little review and talk about the movie, but also open for discussion for those of you who already have seen it, so we can have a little chat in the comment section. I'm going to be a little bit all over the place in this video. I have my notes here, but hopefully you will be able to follow my thought process along just fine. The first part in this video will be spoiler free, but I will warn you when I'm about to go into a more in-depth analysis and review of the scenes and the plot in Alien Romulus. When I'm sitting down there in my chair at the movie theater and the movie starts, I notice that I have this little smile on my face the entire first half of this movie, because it really shows that the filmmakers, Fede Alvarez and his team, they really know what they're doing, and they have kept that retro tech aesthetic from the first and second movie, and everything's very dirty and all of the buttons clunky and the screens have static. It's such a cool looking movie, and the set pieces are amazing, and there are lots of Easter eggs thrown in there. If you know your Alien movies, you can see that there's a lot of things that they took from the old ones and put in here just to give us fans something to recognize, and yeah, you could call it memberberries. But it's not in your face, and they're very subtle with it, I think. And also they get us to care for the characters and our main protagonists. And the relationship between the main protagonists, there are two in this movie, and it's a really interesting relationship. I had some issues with the cast being very young, but it actually isn't that much of a problem. I think they're doing great with these young adults in this movie. And once you learn about their motivation, you can really understand where they're coming from and how they want to set up their drive to get the plot going. I also find it refreshing that in other Alien movies, there are these situations where you cut away from the action, so you don't really see what's happening. But here in this movie, we actually stay with our characters, and it really shows us a new perspective on some of the situations we haven't seen before. I think that's a pretty clever way to show us something new, but really not maybe go in and change the entire evolution of this creature, to go and develop something completely new. It feels like they took a little bit of Alien and put it in a bucket, and then they took Aliens and put that in there, and then they took Alien 4, shucked that in, and also a little bit of Prometheus sprinkled in there. And then they did something like this, and then you have Alien Romulus. Halfway into the movie, I'm starting to lose my smile, and I feel like there's a pacing issue with this movie, because it seems like there's some scenes at the end of the movie that should have been more towards the middle, just to spread out the pacing and get a little bit of more of a downtime between these events that seems to be very concentrated to the end. And I was also hoping that we would get more horror, get more of a alien isolation kind of movie, but this one seems more about doing a adventurous alien action type of movie.
Whatever comes, we'll face it.
But hey, I know I'm quite desensitized to horror, so don't take my word for it. Maybe you all out there think this is a super scary, horrible kind of movie, but for me, it's not really that scary. I would really hope for more sneaking and hiding and, yeah, basically more alien isolation. But anyway, to wrap up this spoiler-free review, would I recommend go seeing this? Absolutely. I think it's a solid film, has a little bit of pacing issues. It's not a perfect horror film. They are doing the standard alien beats just to keep the audience satisfied. You hear that? That's the spoiler alarm. I'm now going to talk more in depth about this movie and talk about scenes and the plot. And if you don't want to get spoiled, you probably should click away now. And take my opinion here with a bit of grain of salt, because I've only seen this movie once. So maybe if I watch this movie a couple of times, I will change my opinion of some things in this movie, perhaps. It was cool to see a couple of Easter eggs from Alien Isolation. The pump handle when they're entering the station, there's this pump handle, and I was thinking, yeah, that comes from Isolation. And also there's this setting where the hallway arcs away from the camera. It also looks very much like San Cristobal level in Alien Isolation. When watching the trailers, I had an idea that this K character was supposed to be the main protagonist in this movie. But when the movie starts, we are following the android Andy and Rain. And I was thinking directly that, are they doing some kind of a protagonist swap here? And I thought that was a pretty cool idea if they would done something like that, to start the movie following Andy and Rain, but then they would get attacked by the xenomorphs and die, and all of a sudden we are focusing on another character in this group, which is the one who survives this whole situation. And that ties a little bit back to my review of the Alien movie, where we're a little bit uncertain to who is the main character in this group of 8 crew members. But they didn't do that. So that was a little bit of a bummer that they didn't do something like that. I think that would have been really cool. What do you guys think? So if we talk a little bit more about the pacing issues, I think that, for example, when they are in the hive and Andy and Rain, they are giving up and they're just accept their situation and the impending doom when these xenomorphs are closing in on them. But I felt like that scene would have been much better at the end of the movie instead of halfway in, basically. When we see the characters giving up like that, there hasn't been a lot of twists and turns, and already they're sitting there and just accepting their fate. And I felt like that was a little bit rushed. It would have been better to take that scene and put it way later in the movie. And honestly, again, I would love to have some more interactions with our characters in the xenomorphs. More of a hunt, you know, more of the sneaking and hiding and trying to survive these creatures without killing off everyone else with the acid and breaching the hull and all of that. It feels like this movie is more geared towards the more of the, as I stated before, the action and the adventure style of Alien theme. There was a couple of scenes that I really wanted them to flesh out, and one of these scenes I'm thinking about is the one where Kay is locked inside of this room where there's a xenomorph, and then the other group comes from the other side of the door that is locked, and Andy, the droid, he doesn't want to open the door, and he says something along the lines of, I don't want to open because that's what the creature wants us to do, to open the door. And that got really going in my mind, because what if we have this scene where the xenomorph is displaying much more of an intelligent behavior instead of being this animalistic creature? So it knows that it could manipulate this group of people on the other side of the door by torturing this poor girl Kay, and you know, you can have made this scene as gruesome and horrible and memorable just knowing that the xenomorph was able to do something like this and know that it could manipulate humans like this. That would be so cool to see and would really put this creature into a new light. But we don't get anything like that. We just get that the xenomorph snatch up this girl Kay and disappears in the ceiling, which is, I think it's just a missed opportunity. We could have gotten a really cool scene there with this group and the xenomorph manipulating this group of people. The incubation time of the xenomorphs in this movie is way too fast, but I feel like since they're setting up our characters fine and they're not doing stupid things, it's forgivable. I feel like it's forgivable. We have a little cameo in this movie, and it's Ash, the android from the first Alien movie, but in this movie it's another robot, and he's called Rook. I think it was called Rook. They're doing this deep fake CGI thing with Ash, and it looks terrible. It really takes you out of the movie. And it's like, you didn't have to do this. It would be much better if they just kept him in the shadows and just suggest that this is the same model as Ash from the first movie. They didn't need to have this wonky CGI deep fake image of him. It just... Why? Why? Stop it. Get some help.
Stop it. Get some help.
They are inserting lots of things from Prometheus into Alien Romulus, and I don't like that at all. I don't like Prometheus, I don't like the black goo and the engineers. I feel like this was something that maybe Ridley Scott forced Alvarez to do. They're setting up this compound in Alien Romulus, and when they're presenting this to us, I was thinking maybe they're taking this to a cool new territory where maybe our main character Rain, she in the last second needed to take this compound to be able to actually fight an alien, a sort of a last resort thing that she could do. Take the compound and then gain some kind of a super strength, or maybe she would turn into some freakish thing. But she had to do it to be able to save her group of friends. But then they don't do anything like that, and actually she's taking this compound immediately after they present us with this plot device. And I'm like, what was the purpose for her to take the compound? I had no idea. Do you? Did I miss anything? Can someone please explain why she took the compound and we don't really see any effects of it? For the last scene in this movie, we have this pregnant girl Kay that also took the compound, and she gave birth to this freakish creature, some kind of a crossover between an engineer and a xenomorph and a human, I guess. And it's like, I don't know, it's a little bit of a Alien 4 reference, I guess, with the newborn. And then I realized that this movie is doing the same beats as every alien out there, and it's like, it's just a rehash. We've seen this before, it's safe. It's like they feel the need to just copy all of these beats, and they're scared of doing something different. And lastly, what was that thing with Andy saying that one line? Get away from her, you What? I mean, I've seen this movie once, and have I missed something? Why did he say that? Did they only put that one line in there so we can go, oh, it's from Aliens, oh, that's the line from Aliens. Do you remember? Do you remember? It's so dumb. Please tell me why Andy said that line. I must have missed something. Okay, that's my little review and critique of the Alien Romulus, and I'm curious what my subscribers think of this movie. I would love to chat with you all in the comment section, so don't be shy. Let's have a little chat about Alien Romulus. That is all I have for now. I will see you in the next one. Bye!